Well, the game that I am gonna for is Cyberpunk. 100% going to be Cyberpunk. Coming out in 2020, because it's based on 2020, the game... No, 2077 is the actual title, but it's based on It's based on the 2020 book. 2077 in 2020. Good, linking. But my most anticipated game of 2020 is Gods and Monsters, actually, which is just like a real little spin-off. Obviously, Cyberpunk is up there, but I spoke about it so many times. I've said everything I can say about how excited I am for this game. So I'm gonna give you something else, which is Gods and Monsters, which is by the same studio that did Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and they've decided to make this little painterly storybook world because they wanted to delve more into the mythology of the Greek islands they were doing, and are going to do it in Gods and Monsters. So you play as like this hero that's running around this little painterly world and killing off like hydras, gorgons, all sorts of different creatures. And all we've seen so far is literally just like a little clip of a little hero. It looks like Zelda. It looks like rip-off Zelda, which I'm very excited for. It just seems really nice. I love games that delve into real-world mythology and take inspiration from our own like historical, influential, strange, weird things that we've got going on and put their own spin on it. And I think that they've so passionate about the mythology to take it and make their own game from it, spun off from Assassin's Creed, means that it's going to be a really interesting sort of thing to delve into for all these monsters and creatures. And there's all sorts of opportunities for this to like grow and expand and be really a beautiful, interesting, and educational game. Like that, like maths games in primary school. This is that for me. But no, I just think it looks really pretty. I think it's a really nice modern update on lots of things we've seen before, but can bring something new to the table with them. And because it's had so little said about it and so little revealed about it gameplay-wise, that has just got my appetite whetted even more, because I just want to go roaming around this lovely world. It's like The Witness, when you play The Witness and it's just beautiful and you just want to walk around and look at all the puzzles. That's what I want for this game. Like, I need another nice, like, a nice little easy, just a breather of a game before Cyberpunk comes out and I lose about 4 months of my life to Night City. So yeah, Gods and Monsters, I think it looks really nice.
Have a guess.
Animal Crossing.
No. It's not Avengers, it's actually Ghost of Tsushima, because the shuriken, they're not snowflakes, the shuriken. I'm really excited for both the Avengers project, which is actually Marvel's Avengers, because I actually think it looks really good. I know loads of people are really kind of skeptical over the game as a service model, but I genuinely think there's a chance here for Crystal Dynamics to do something very interesting with that universe on the back of what we saw with Insomniac and Spider-Man. But again, my most anticipated game so far is still Ghost of Tsushima. I was really upset that we didn't see anything from it last year, and I'm slightly worried that its absence implies that something terrible has happened behind the scenes, but I really hope not, because the idea of having basically Red Dead, but take that dedication and authenticity, but apply it to, you know, feudal Japan, that just sounds so incredible to me. And I thought that first E3 demo was spectacular, especially when the guy came out and was playing the instrument. It was really, really good. But yeah, I think Ghost of Tsushima is definitely still my most anticipated game. If it's coming out next year, I really hope it does. If not, I'll be a bit sad, but then again, I also have Avengers. So the Avengers giveth with one hand and Sony taketh away with the other, but they could give both. And we all want both things.
Good.
Aside from January's incredible return of Dr. Kawashima and his brain training for the Switch, March is going to be the kind of month my downstairs isn't going to take. It's going to take an absolute bloody beating, because we have got what was one of my most anticipated titles of last year, because it's 2020 right now, totally, which was Doom Eternal. That has been delayed to March 2020, and I got the chance to play it at EGX, which was absolutely phenomenal. It just revitalized the fact that, yes, I can wait for this. I will wait, because, oh boy, it was really quite something. I am very, very, very excited to just get my hands on more Doom. I keep playing 2016. I'm playing it on Nightmare at the moment because it's hard as balls, but fair enough to actually get through. And it's just a great time. And I would like another Mick Gordon soundtrack, please. Thank you very much. But the other thing we're going to mention is also coming out in March, which when I realized they were both on the same month, I had to sort of pinch myself and think, oh God, I'm not going to make it past March. And that's the fact that we're finally getting a new Half-Life game. And that is a huge deal. Yes, it is Half-Life Alyx coming out on Steam. Yes, it is a VR title. No, it's not going to not be a VR title, but Valve have taken this and they've built it from the ground up with VR in mind, and I think that's what people aren't realizing. They have done this because it's the right thing to do with what they were playing with at the time. They didn't just think, yeah, let's make a VR game to sell more VR headsets. Selling more VR headsets is going to be sort of a happy coincidence and consequence of this game being produced, but we're finally getting a new Half-Life game after 12 years since Episode 2. And it takes place in between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, though you apparently do need to play through the entire saga to really appreciate Alex. So we're thinking there might be some time travel, because at one point in the trailer, Eli says, "Look away, honey." And that's what happens right at the end of Episode 2. So, yeah, it's going to be quite something to experience Half-Life again, something completely new, and experiencing it in VR, because I recently bought into VR and I've loved it. So the fact that I've got this coming, it's like, well, I will RIP Rich in March 2020, Doom and Half-Life. Oh boy.
So I had a little look at the calendar before I came in here, and my eyebrows did a little bizarre jig when I realised that there's going to be an actual Psychonauts 2 actually coming out next year. Woo! Yeah, and Ori and the Blind Forest 2, Will of Wisps. But as excited as I am for both those platformers, like this past year in 2020, I'm again looking to the past for my most anticipated game. This past year I had Shenmue 3 and Link's Awakening, and next year it's going to be the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I spoke on here previously about the time when I swapped Gran Turismo for Final Fantasy VII, and it was the best decision I ever made, an absolutely life-changing choice. The time I spent with Cloud and his little crew of canny followers, it just sort of like spurred this lifelong passion for throwing numbers at enemies in Japanese RPGs, and also it infused a deep love for the series. And since then, I went on and played every single game in the series, more or less. I even travelled the world all the way from New York to Tokyo just to see concerts based on the music. And although, admittedly, the last few in the series, probably the last 5, have been a bit naff, you might say if you're being generous, I am secretly super duper excited for this remake. Yes, it probably isn't going to be the game everybody wanted. It's more action oriented. It doesn't have the ATB system. It's going to be released in about 1 billion parts, and there's going to be Advent Children style gibberish sprinkled in if you promise to update the story. But nevertheless, honestly, just the prospect of the reorchestrated soundtrack alone is enough to pull me in. I'm totally psyched for it, and it's coming out in March the 4th, exclusive on the PS4. I think Final Fantasy's been in a bit of a rut for quite a while, and I sort of reckon that, ironically, looking to the past might just be what it needs to, and excuse this really good bunny, soldier on in a new direction.
Good.
It's a Final Fantasy.
And we'll get an avalanche of new games.
Oh, we absolutely will. An avalanche of tat as well.
Good.
Can't
It's
wait.
an avalanche because it's a...
Yeah. Very, very nice.
Stars!
Good.
Look, Resident Evil 2 Remake was everything. Our game of the year. Also, everything we wanted and more. It just takes what we would love from Resident Evil 2, but some people can't really handle with the camera perspective in the corner, and the zombies off the screen, and people just don't like it. So people want over-the-shoulder, sort of actiony, like Resident Evil 4, but get some of those old tank controls out of it. Perfect remake, just perfect reimagining of the whole story and bringing it to 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021 sort of world where we can accept zombies again, and zombies aren't that naff. Made the zombies good as well. And Mr. X really terrified people. X gonna give it to you. So Nemesis gonna give it to you with Resident Evil 3 Remake, which we think is gonna be announced very shortly, or if not, it might be announced by this point that the video goes out. Who knows? I'm not a schedulesman. But what I do know is stars, we're gonna get zombies, we're gonna see Jill Valentine, and she probably ain't gonna be wearing that really risque skirt she was wearing back in the PS1 days in 99. Because it was 99, it was the Attitude Era, and skirts were all the rage, and we didn't care about representing people properly. But now, she'll probably wear some trousers. And also, zombies.
Even Nemesis got a redesign.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as metalhead anymore. He's just kind of instead of, stars. Also, really, it's Last of Us 2, but I thought I'd go Resident Evil because I don't get a full choice.
I wish it was Cyberpunk 2077, but if I'm completely honest, I'm a little bit worried. I haven't seen that much of that game that makes me think it's going to be anything other than the biggest version of Cyberpunk fiction possible, and I want new game mechanics, which I know sucks, but that's not the whole point. But I just want to get it out there that I am looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077, but there's something else that pulls at my heartstrings and plays them like a beautiful guitar solo, and that is Last of Us 2, because I need to know what happens with these characters. I kind of think of them as my own relatives at this point. I absolutely adore both Joel and Ellie, and even just the sight of Ellie smiling when she's hanging out with Regina Dina is what she's called in the original trailer, or when just Joel showed up, just seeing him be this even more broken dude with an even older looking face, coming back to help Ellie get through the quest that she's going to go on to find, but looks like the origins of her mother and her actual bloodline, and all the questions that raises as to the legitimacy of Joel still being a father figure versus actual Ellie's mum turning up, all that stuff. I'm so game for it. I hope that there's something more to it, because the latest trailer seems to show that Dina gets killed, and that's why Ellie's so angry. And Neil Druckmann, creative director, said that the game was about hate, but I have to hope there's something more to it. Either way, it just feels like we're all primed for the next installment of this like TV season level thing that we're all looking forward to, and I need to know what happens with those characters. Gameplay looks awesome too. They've kind of got this like new age way of meshing together combat with exploration, and like little mini animations that happen where like you're in the middle of a gunfight, but then you can just sidle around some environment and take someone else out from a different angle, all without really pushing buttons. It all seems to be very seamless. I like the look of that stuff. But yeah, is Joel gonna die? I don't know. I hope not. And but then I kind of want everyone to die if you're gonna kill Joel. So I don't know. But I need to know what happens next, and that's kind of just where I am. I just need to know the story, and I hope the internet doesn't spoil it. So don't message me.